Okay, right now we've got a track that's got quite a lot of reverb on it. There's 5 tracks that have got some pretty massive reverb, either on the whole thing or on aspects of them. So we're going to use a gate to just chop off the ends of some of those reverb tails. As you can hear, each of those reverb tails is kind of like merging into the next thing that's happening, which you might want, but in this case we're just going to kind of tidy up the sound a bit, make it sound a bit more concise by adding a gate. So we're going to add the re-gate effects to the reverb send track effects. And here we go. At the minute it's not going to do anything because the threshold is set to -infinity, i.e. it's not going to have any action at all. If you drag that up, what's going to happen is once the volume gets below the level that's indicated by the slider, then it's going to disappear. And you can hear that reverb disappearing each time it gets below the slider level. So the higher you have it, the shorter the reverb tail is going to be. And now it sounds a lot tidier. Less smooth, but tidier in its sound. Right, let's try adding it to some of these other tracks. So the voice up here. Now instead of being on a send, this one, the reverb is actually on the track itself. So we're going to put a gate on the track itself. And as you'll see, that will present us with a bit of an issue with how the gate works. So at the minute, set to do nothing. What you can do is watch the volume level, and once it gets to the length that you want it to be, you can just make a mental note of whereabouts the volume was and then drag the slider to that position. Now, the problem with this is that because you're not sending the original sound to a send track, actually having a gate on it is going to cut out a section of the quieter fade in. So if you've got quiet sections on your track and you're only wanting to put a gated reverb effect on it, then actually those quieter bits are going to get chopped out by the gate. This one's not going to have that problem because there's no quiet bits in that particular vocal sample. So we'll add another gate to it. This time I'm going to try and get it to cut off just as the big snare hit comes in later on. Hear that glitch as it comes down? That's because the release is too low. So what's happening is when it gets to that volume, the volume's going down too quickly, but then because it's not a completely continuous descent, it comes back up again. So you get a little glitching sound. So if we make the release a bit longer, it makes it a bit better. Right, just to adjust the threshold so that it gets in time with the snare. It's cutting off a bit early at the moment, so I'll bring the threshold down a little. Oh, that's pretty good. Now we don't really hear the fact that the reverb has been cut off, but also we don't get that build-up of reverb that we were having earlier. So it gives it a much tighter kind of feel, much cleaner.